Good day, everyone. Today we have, I hope you're having a fantastic day. However, we do have where I am currently now, and it should be where you are. However, depending on when the new day starts for you and, depending on time zones and everything, the sun has now moved into true sky, Gemini. So we now have Sun in Gemini, Mercury in Gemini, and then we've also recently had Jupiter move into Cancer and Mars into Taurus. So we've had a few changes. The moon is in true sky Leo today as well. So the first deck that I'm going to begin for you to read is the Mystic Fairy Tarot, and on the bottom of the deck we have for you today the Three of Pentacles. So there could be an underlying energy of, self-mastery, learning, collaborating with others that can help you develop in positive ways, developing skills. However, our first card for you today is the Nine of Cups. So we do have a bit of water energy in this reading, which is interesting because we do have not just the Jupiter in Cancer, but we also have Venus in Cancer. And plus we have Neptune, Saturn, and Chiron in true sky Pisces as well. So we do have some watery energy. So we've got a couple of water here. We've got the Nine of Cups, and then we have the Two of Cups as your crowning card here. So the Nine of Cups is that traditional wish card. It's about your dearest wishes coming true. It's a moment we'd all love to experience. However, it's not often that our wishes are granted. So it's a very special time and moment for you at this time. That there may be some kind of wish that you've been wanting for a long time that you've now achieved or gotten, and that it's a good time to realize that you also have that power within you to make these dreams come through, and that it's often by figuring out what needs to happen that can progress in this direction. Next to it, as your crowning card, like I said, we have the Two of Cups. So this is a card that is often linked to love. It doesn't have to be a romantic love or partnership. However, it often is. It can signify that, and that it's a very magical time and card. It's a very wonderful feeling, someone offering you a cup, and there's like a reciprocal relationship or partnership or friendship going on here. It's a time of happiness, and it gives you strength to get through hard times. So it's a lovely energy to have as the crowning card today. Then we have the Knight of Pentacles. So our Knight of Pentacles is a very practical knight. He could be of the earth signs or houses, or the strongly resonant, those planets that rule those signs as well. So by saying that too, so it could be, for example, the cross in your chart. So your ascendant, descendant, Imum Coli, and the midheaven. If any planets are conjoining any of those points in your chart, also aspecting those points in your chart. So maybe they're not conjoining, but maybe they're trining or something else. Those planets become like emphasized in your chart. And so for the earth signs, we've got your Saturn, we've also got Venus with the Taurus, and then we've also got the Mercury with the Virgo. So someone might not have, say, a lot of earth in their chart, but they could have those planets like on one of their angles or aspecting one of their angles, and it's like really tight, like really, that kind of energy can really influence a character as well, your character. So the Knight of Pentacles, it could be masculine or feminine. And they're actually very disciplined. And they like to do their tasks to get things done. Their passion is great. However, they are quite slow. So whatever resources and energy they're bringing in, it's not very, it's long lasting and it's stable, but it's not like this quick, fiery, even the water can be quick, and strong, but the earth, it's got a more kind of monotonous, slow energy to it. Then we have, so this Knight of Pentacles, could be this link to this, they are in this reading linked to the Two of Cups. So there could be this new love that you are experiencing, that could be a friend or not. Or it could be you as well. The Knight of Pentacles could be you. So it could be something you're learning, or it could be someone in your life at this time. The next card we have is the Wheel of Fortune. So this is a really lucky time for you as well. Obviously, you'd need to look at all other aspects going on in your chart, because this is just the cards portion of the reading. However, the Wheel of Fortune in the upright brings a lot of luck, and it basically says that, it's like things are just turning in your favor at this time. The central card for today we have, this is our first True Sky Gemini season reading. We have the Nine of Pentacles, which I do find interesting. We have an Earth card for the center because we do have some Earth. We have the Pluto in Capricorn. We have the Mars and Uranus in Taurus at the moment. So we do have 3 quite significant placings in Earth signs. So the Nine of Pentacles is a great card. It's very much linked to a sense of safety and security, that you've overcome troubles and misfortunes. Sometimes you've sacrificed immediate pleasures. However, you've known that you needed to do that to get where you are. So you're in a really good space materially at the moment. This is our central meaning for today. And then we have the Six of Wands. So this card does represent success and victory, but it's also not just something you would be celebrating. It's something that others would be acknowledging about you and for you, and that they would be celebrating as well. So it's a really positive card. So today so far, it's a lovely energy, really lovely. Then we have the Tower. So this card isn't so positive. However, with change, positive things can come. So the Tower definitely signifies kind of catastrophic changes, deep changes, significant changes, like upheavals and things just not working. So generally it means that whatever was not working was not meant to be. So you kind of just need to, kind of let that tower fall and, maybe even protect yourself a little bit from the damages that could occur from it falling. But, to move on, because it's not, it wasn't working. You can reassess and, go back and look at it. But it has a destructive energy, but it does also open up a new energy as well, which is interesting because the next card we have for you is the Fool. So the Fool is all about new beginnings. So how interesting that we have the Tower with the Fool. So there is a new beginning opening up for you. This is your base of the matter card as well. And then we have the Magician. So the Magician is all about manifesting. So with these things that you're letting go of, that are actually in themselves just not working out, you have this new energy coming in, new adventures, new journeys, and then you're able to think about what it is that you really want to manifest in your life at this time. So that's lovely. Considering Gemini is such a mental, I mean, mental is in of the mind, it's an air sign. Having the sun in Gemini is really going to bring a lot of energy to those things, ideas, communication. It's even linked to short journeys and siblings, and yeah, it's an interesting sign, Gemini, ruled by Mercury. So the next tarot that I'm going to clarify with are the Victorian Fairy Tarot. And on the bottom of the deck for you, we have the Awakening card. So the Awakening card is like your Judgment card. So you might find that there's like an underlying energy of kind of divine justice or divine judgment at the moment, that things that are out of your control, higher forces, are really kind of making the decisions at this time, and that you need to just stand back and let those energies work themselves out. It could even be linked to this with the Three of Pentacles, this potential creative opportunity or networking situation that you've been involved in as well. So to clarify the Nine of Cups, we have the Seven of Autumn. So in this tarot, it's a little bit different once again, and it has the seasons. And so the summer is the Wands, the winter is the Swords, the autumn is the Pentacles. I'm pretty sure it's the autumn. And then I was actually wrong. So the spring court is the Wands. The summer court is the Cups. The autumn court, yes, that is the Pentacles. And the winter court is the Swords. So yeah, it's quite a beautiful tarot. I really like it. It has that kind of old English Victorian theme with like the fairies and the flowers and nature, and yeah, it's quite lovely. So for the Nine of Cups, we have the Seven of Autumn, which would be like your Seven of Pentacles. So this Nine of Cups was about this wishes and happiness, and kind of even looking at what we are wishing for, and even questioning, what are we wishing for, and how we can achieve it. The Seven of Autumn is pretty much saying a very similar message. It's about looking at what resources you have, how you've done, like what you've done with them in the past, what you've planted, what's produced, what's, not produced, and deciding where to go from there, figuring out what's the best way forward. So that's quite an interesting energy together. For the Two of Cups, we have the Queen of Spring. And so spring is like the Wands suit. So this is our Queen of Wands here. So potentially this, if this is a romantic situation or a friendship, this Queen of Spring could be the one that you're connecting with, or it could be you. So she would be, or they would be, of the fire signs, houses, or planets significant in their chart. And they're often very creative and very fun-loving and, kind and generous. And yeah, she is often known as the Witch of the Tarot, so very creative energy and warm. And then for the Knight of Pentacles, we have the Two of Winter. So this is like your Two of Swords. So this is kind of saying that maybe it's this night, or maybe you learning about being the Knight of Pentacles. So slowly kind of accumulating your coins or resources. The Two of Swords is saying that, yeah, you really need to look at how you are making your decisions. And that, you need to make decisions firmly, and that, you might be facing some hard decisions at this time, and you might even feel like you're kind of sitting at a crossroads, or even feeling pain about these decisions that you need to make. And you may even have fears come up around these decisions, and you might even feel torn between different choices that you need to make at this time as well. It can suggest that you may be even avoiding making decisions, or that you're feeling quite blocked as well in making decisions. So some things might feel kind of out of your hands. Then for the Wheel of Fortune, we actually have the Seven of Winter. However, it is reversed. So this would be like your Seven of Swords. Because it's reversed, I do take the reversed meanings to be that, because I don't get a lot of them in readings. So even though we have this Wheel of Fortune and this great luck on our side, the Seven of Swords reversed does have an interesting meaning. It's linked to your conscience, and your conscience kicking in, and you wanting to come clean about something you've done that you do not feel proud of, and that you feel like you need to confess this and turn over a new leaf. It can be linked to, for example, and this could be you, or it could be someone in your life, or someone that was in your life. It can be linked to pathological liars, serial cheaters, and people who are malicious or two-faced, so much so that they're toxic or dangerous to be around. It can represent slander, blackmail, and con artists. It also signifies to not ignore warning signs. So you don't want to be outsmarted or find that your strategies and plans are unworkable. So it can be an indicator that you are potentially lacking a backbone, and that you're behaving in a cowardly manner, stealing credit for other people's achievements, or running away from consequences. And it also can represent ignoring warning signs or getting caught. So this is a general meaning for it. So maybe this could be you, or it could be someone you're involved in, could be someone around you, like in your family, or we have the Queen of Winter here connected to it. But we also have the central card, the King of Summer, also reversed right next to it. We have two figures here connected, the Queen of Winter and the King of Summer. So it doesn't have to mean a masculine or a feminine, the king, because that person can take on those qualities, So yeah, the Queen of Winter is linked to the air, and then the King of Summer is linked to the water. So this definitely could be someone in your life that maybe even saw that you were experiencing a lot of luck and good fortune, and they maybe even thought they could kind of try and swindle it out of you, or maybe that is just what they do, and it's nothing personal. It's not that they noticed you had this wealth. You have the wealth, or that fortune. It doesn't even have to mean that you are significantly wealthy. It could just be like attracting opportunities, or good things into your life. But there is this really negative energy here that could be like a con man or something involved here. So for the central cards, the Nine of Pentacles, which is that, once again, we have the Wheel of Fortune with the Nine of Pentacles. That is a real abundance of financial resources, the Nine of Pentacles. But however, having the King of Summer, he is, like I said, doesn't have to be a he. I say that because it's the king. However, it could be someone in your life that's taking on this energy. Overly emotional or too sensitive. However, they also lack emotional maturity. They can lack a backbone, and they are too gullible. They put themselves in a position where others can take advantage of them. And they need to learn to be accountable for their own behavior. So potentially, like, they blame others for their problems. There's always someone else's fault, you know, whatever happens to them. It's like that eternal victim kind of personality. And that you need to be aware of emotional balance, because you may be becoming overwhelmed, anxious, or depressed. And that this can also come across as bitterness or unkind, uncaring, or manipulative behavior. So as a person, they tend to be manipulative, controlling, and in the extreme negative and abusive. Someone who senses the emotional weaknesses of others as a weapon against them and will seek to take advantage of vulnerability in others to get their own way or simply just to gain amusement. They can be vindictive, spiteful, and not to be trusted. So they can represent an older male who is so overly emotional and sensitive that they've lost their ability to function properly in the world. They may be moody, sulky, unbalanced, and at risk of becoming dependent on the people around them. They can be definitely of the water signs as well, or houses significant in their chart, or those ruling planets once again. So this is central to your reading. There's this, you know, reversed King here of Cups affecting this financial opportunity even. So it sounds really draining. Like emotionally, there might be this opportunity, but emotionally there's this real draining energy here. And this potential of that getting lost. This good fortune and this Nine of Pentacles. You know, someone might even, it doesn't have to be that this King of Cups is that con man. It could even be that they allow this con man in, you know. Yeah, it could mean that the con man is an outsider, but yeah, there is that energy there. So the next card we have is the Six of Wands, and that was the celebration card and the victory and the success. So we have the Knight of Winter here. So the Knight of Winter is like your Knight of Swords, and it does represent potentially a message coming in. It could be from an individual. So they could be like of the late teens to say early mid-30s age range, of the air signs or houses or planets significant in their chart. But they are very intellectual and very sharp. It can be tactful or tactless depending on, you know, how it's all aspected. But yeah, they often have something really important to say. So maybe even they might be saying something about this King of Cups or reversed, or something to them. But it sounds to me almost like a little bit of a wake-up call for them, for this King of Cups reversed. Then for the Tower, we have the Queen of Winter. So she is often linked to the widow or the divorcee. So she has been through really hard life lessons, and it's made her hard. It's made her intellectual. It's made her, you know, an overthinker. And, you know, she hasn't really settled into that kind of traditional feminine energy of being like the loving, caring kind of feminine. She's, you know, overly intellectual. She's hardened from life. However, she has developed a very sharp mind. Through this suffering, she has actually developed a strong character. And so this is linked to this Tower. So this changing circumstance that is happening, all that has happened, if it's you or if this is someone you know, they will go through, obviously it's not going to be easy, but they will become like a queen of, I mean, here it's winter, Queen of Swords. They will gain a lot of wisdom from going through this experience. And then for the Fool, interestingly, we actually have the Magistrate. So the Magistrate is like your Hierophant type of figure. So he is an authority. So there's a news cycle here with this Magistrate. So maybe you might need to seek some kind of advice depending on what is going on in this situation. It sounds like it's financial. There's a few pentacles here, but also emotional and potentially love, relationship as well. You might need to seek some counseling if you're in a relationship or a marriage, if that's what's going on here. Or for your business, you know, you might need to see, I don't know if it's an accountant or someone involved in what's going on here to help you, like an official person. And that this will need to be like a new beginning in this sense too. Then we have for the Magician, we have the 8 of Autumn. So the Autumn once again is like the Pentacles. So this is about, you know, manifesting a new opportunity on a financial level. However, it's something you've been working on for a while. It's just that you are actually progressing really well and mastering that craft or talent. It can signify a period of study or apprenticeship or something like that. But there's almost a sense of completion. You know, it's an 8. It's nearing the end. The next cards I'm going to clarify with are the magical messages from the Fairies Oracle cards. And on the bottom of the deck we have healing, healed, and healer. Healing energy surrounds you and this situation. So that's lovely. So whatever it is you're going through, it is very good to, you know, ask your ancestors, ask your gods, ask your guides, ask, you know, whoever it is that you work with, you know, the fairies or, you know, if it's the angels, whatever it is, to ask for help. So the first card we have is be yourself. The situation calls for you to be your authentic self, which is the basis for your personal power. So it's always good to be authentic. And this is linked to this potential new love situations with this creative, warm, feminine energy here, which could be you. So it could be about you learning to be more loving on a, you know, with that warm, creative energy. And then we have your desire is within reach. Have faith as everything is working in your favor. So even though we do have, you know, we had this great financial abundance here with the 9 of Pentacles, and then we had this King of Cups reversed, which really does sound like such a drain. However, because we do have this 9 of Pentacles, you know, it's not like a double negative here. And this one's saying, yeah, your desire is within reach, so have faith. Then you have dietary change. Improve your diet and your life will also improve, which is interesting because we do have the Fool, like the new journey beginning, and then the Magistrate. So maybe even, because this is specifically talking about diet, maybe seeing a nutritionist or like a naturopath or someone that is linked to diet, healthy diet advice, lifestyle advice. It's such a cute card, this card. Like having tea and cakes in a fairy garden with fairies. Yeah, so maybe that could be this individual that you need to see at this time to help get some advice. The next cards I'm going to pull from are the Fairies Oracle. It's the Brian Froud Oracle. And on the bottom of the deck we have Solace. So he is a fairy spirit linked with the sun. And he's a radiant, energizing, and he's vitalizing. His presence indicates something new is being brought into being in our lives, partly through our own efforts and partly through the help we are receiving from other realms. Miracles may take place. Movement into the light is occurring. This is a time for taking action. passing on our blessings and learning, and for service given from a position of strength. So I really like solace. So the first card, however, we've actually got here is Titan the Sylph, I think it's Titan, yeah. And they represent mental quickness, adaptability, and enthusiasm. Ideas and opinions abound. A few are brilliant, but others vary from mediocre to downright silly. Be selective. Mental and psychic abilities may be awakening. Independent thinking is in operation. New ideas and new versions of old ideas are creating an exciting, effervescent atmosphere. Avoid excess and extremes. Minds may change often as new ideas and new ways of seeing bubble to the surface. Out of conflict and confusion, resolved by goodwill and clear thinking, a new and better understanding may come. So that's beautiful. So I really got the feeling that that's linked to this Gemini energy currently that we have. But yeah, definitely be yourself. So it's linked in here as well. The central card we have for you is the Ra. So the Ra is an interesting figure. This is our central card for you today. The Ra. So the Ra in your cards encourages you to be especially attentive to what you are doing with your energy and intentions. Don't get carried away by the Ra's bouncy enthusiasm, but do take advantage of the energy. You can accomplish a great deal with the energy being made available to you. This is a good time. Note that the Ra is not grounded and is not meant to be. But humans need to keep their feet firmly on the earth. When you encounter the Ra, breathe slowly. Center, earth yourself. Be clear about your objectives and then go for them. So that one's lovely as well. And then because this one definitely talks about your desires being within reach, I think that's a lovely combination with the, center, groundedness, focus on your breathing. That kind of energy is lovely. And then once again, it reminds me of the air with the Gemini, so the breathing. And then the last card we have for you today is number 38, which is Leicester, Moon's Daughter. I like this card as well. Really beautiful cards, the Froude Fairy cards. So you may be finding apparently random events and ideas are falling into a pattern and beginning to make sense to you. Things may be flowing more easily than you are accustomed to, and your decisions and choices may be bringing an unusually high degree of success. Psychic abilities, hunches, intuitions, foreknowings are becoming clearer and making more sense. Trust the process. Leicester also brings psychic dreams for lighting the future and illuminating the present. These dreams often speak in symbols, as fairies want to do. So that's interesting with the moon and the psychic and the gut feelings and the dreams, because we do have that Jupiter in Cancer and the Venus in Cancer at the moment, which is very much linked with the moon and all that stuff as well. Also the Pisces, however, it's the Neptune and the Saturn in the Pisces. So the next cards I'm going to pull from are the Fairy Tale Lenormand, and on the bottom of the deck we have the Clover. So the Clover is a very lucky card. So there's an underlying lucky energy here. You know, you are blessed. You have good luck. Then we have the book. So the book is very much about, there's a lot to be said here. There is stories that are linked, and this is to do with the self. So that was all about the mental abilities. So maybe you might even be writing a book, or you've thought about writing a book, or you have all these ideas about a book or books, or you love books. There's a definite link here with this mental activation and the book. But the book does represent, you know, messages as well. And often some unknowable factor as well. Then for the central card, we have mice. So the mice does have a generally negative meaning, and it does say that there's been something that's been kind of eating away at you. There's a draining of your energy, which is interesting because I picked up on that draining feeling earlier with this King of Cups in reverse with the Nine of Pentacles. So there was all this abundance, and then there's this king who's just like can't get it together, you know. He's over emotional and you know, potentially even leaving himself as almost prey to more cunning people. However, we do have some positive energies. Yeah, the desire within reach, and even the Ra was a lot of energy. However, once again, now we have the mice. So we have that kind of draining, something eating away at you, something draining your resources. And it's lots of little things. It doesn't have to be like one thing that you can name exactly. It's like lots of little things. So luckily you have a lot of energy here, I guess, to be drained, you know. And then the next one we have is the mountain, which is interesting because the mountain can be linked to institutions and even governments and things that are big, things that rule over other things, you know. Or look over other things. And interesting with the mountain and then the mice as well. So there could even be something big that is looming, and that's kind of what's eating away at you as well. And even with the book here as well, it's like there's something eating away at you, and maybe that's why maybe you haven't been able to start this book, or maybe you have too many books and that's eating away at you. You know, you need to make more space. Maybe you need to downsize. However, the Moon's Daughter, you'll get messages in your dreams. You'll know with your gut feelings. You know, you need to listen to those feelings that you have that will be linked to this something big happening here. And here it is linked with the dietary change as well. So, you know, once again, you might get advice from someone, a professional, and they might not be the right fit for you. You might not feel that while you're with them. You might feel that they are the right fit. They might give you some advice that you take on, but you feel like that doesn't fit. Or, you know, it's such an exploratory process, you know, all of this. The next cards I'm going to pull from, which are actually the last cards today, are the Fairy Ring Oracle. And on the bottom of the deck, we have Tamlin. Then we have Morgan Le Fay, Brownie, and Banshee. So nice that the underlying energy here, and similar with the Lenormand, we had the Clover. So the Clover is very good luck and protective energy. So even though we do had that mice energy, which was really the negative one there, because the book and the mountain are more neutral cards. You know, the Clover still does offer some good luck and protective energy there. And similarly with Tamlin. So Tamlin, his appearance indicates restoration, release from a bad or frightening situation, recovery from illness, relief, pleasure after pain, or a weight lifted from the mind. So that's the underlying energy there. So that's lovely. And then we had the soulless as well. We had that solar kind of spirit as well on the bottom there. And then also on the other bottom was the healing, the healer. So yeah, so maybe it is a healer. You're healing. This is a healing process I think you're going through at the moment. And that might be the person you need to seek as well. And maybe even that mountain card's kind of saying like, it might seem like a mountain that you need to deal with, but you know, obviously, once you get things rolling, it will play out. So yeah, the fairy ring cards are interesting too, and their suits are based on the seasons of the year as well. And there's a lot of like folklore and mythology of the British Isles in them. So Morgan Le Fay, which is your top card here, your crowning card. Morgan Le Fay, she represents occult knowledge. She indicates wisdom and power gained from study and experience combined. Depending on the surrounding cards, she may indicate aspiration and ambition, however, also cunning and ruthlessness. So that is interesting that we got underneath her the book. So maybe it's even an occult book that you, I'm not sure, are interested in or learning or reading. She may represent a real woman in your life, an independent woman who covets success, who's passionate, sensual, and fond of possessions and pleasure, but also capable of being manipulative and controlling. So that's interesting, yeah. All right, the central card, we have the brownie, which is funny because we did get the mice card last time, and then the brownie, she's like cleaning up. I think that's interesting. So when the brownie appears in your cards, she's telling you that pleasure and fulfillment will come from your home and family. They are your security, the important bedrock on which you build the rest of your life, and the refuge from the vicissitudes of the world to which you return. Here lies true happiness. There may be family parties and celebrations in the offing, perhaps a reunion. So that's interesting. Potentially, I guess that's kind of overshadowing this mice energy, but potentially it's also this family situation that's been eating away at you a bit too. Like you have a lot of energy for it, but especially if this to me really does have that feeling of like a drained energy. It doesn't even have to be the masculine, it could be the feminine in this family. I mean, it's the king, so they have that leadership quality. However, I don't think they're doing a very good job at being a leader, being in the reverse. So the last card we have is the Banshee. So the Banshee bring you bad news or a warning of disaster. She's telling you that others are working behind the scenes to do you a disservice. Beware of evil gossip about you and treachery by disloyal friends and loved ones. So that is pretty hard to hear, isn't it? We did have that energy a little bit up here with this Wheel of Fortune, this luck coming in, and then there's this cunning kind of energy. And that did say that there was potential gossip and slander going on here. It's quite a reading today. However, I'm getting that real energy of that kind of Gemini, kind of two-faced energy, like because Gemini is the twins, you know. So... and this this would be feeling like a real mountain, that there are people in your life that are meant to be friends and family that literally do not want the best for you. You know, they're trying to malign you. And you intuitively know this. So that's always good to be aware of. You know, your feelings about people, and even potentially this dietary change. So it's a really new journey that you're on. It's a new chapter in your life. And maybe even you could be becoming this figure of authority in, say, nutrition, or some kind of study to do with, here it specifically talks about diet and life, that improvement. So, you know, you could even be like an influencer or some kind of, you know, health and wellness coach that's very intuitively based, and that there's this real mountain, and unfortunately it seems to be your friends and family that, yeah. Well, I'm going to use my broom to try and sweep some of this negative energy away today for you, because, yeah, we don't need that. We need our friends and family to be, you know, helpful. We need to help each other. It's hard. Life's hard enough. So I'm going to sweep away the negative, because there was a little bit of negative with a lot of them. So, yeah. All right. So that is your reading for today. And yeah, so I did a little bit of musings about the true sky. So there's not really a lot more to say. Obviously, that is moving pretty dramatically at the moment. Everything's moving on. So yeah, I hope you are having a great day or evening wherever you are, and that if you did get something out of this reading, or it did resonate on some level, maybe let me know in the comments, or like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, I'll be back again soon. Take care. Bye.